This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 661 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by EquestrianCollections.com. Hello, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning into Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is about disaster planning from your veterinarian's point of view. It is an excerpt from the Horse.com's weekly horse health report on Horses in the Morning, episode number 428. There are a lot of different types of natural disasters out there, but they all have some basics in common when it comes to being prepared. So listen in as we get the scoop from the vet's point of view. But first, let's hear from today's sponsor.
Hi, Glenn Geek here, and I am with Debbie from Equestrian Collections with the Equestrian Collections Product of the Week. And we're going medical this week, aren't we?
Yes, we are. I wanted to feature the Vetricin Wound and Infection Hydrogel. All of this Vetricin stuff is really good. It's amazing. And not only do I know that it works, but all of my Facebook friends go nuts over this stuff. And the reason I'm featuring the hydrogel this week is because it has a different thing going for it that some other ones of these don't. It's expensive, but it's worth it. This hydrogel stuff, you spray it on like it was liquid, and it comes out like a liquid. But when it comes out, it's a very light gel, so that when you put it in the wound, it actually sticks to the wound. It doesn't like drip down. If you have a wound that's up underneath or one that's hard to get to, you can use this and you can get a really good covering of the wound with the hydrogel. I have not had anyone who I have heard that has used this that hasn't come back and said, oh my goodness, this is the best thing ever. You can use this on all your furry friends and feathered friends. You can use it on horses, dogs, cats, birds. It's just amazing, and it's clean stuff. I would highly recommend it. Give it a try.
And I know the one nice thing about the Vetricin is that you can use it in areas that are flexible, your joints and ankles and knees and things like that, and it provides that extra barrier even for flies and things as well, too.
Yeah, you know what? I had exactly that. I had a little cut on my mare's on the inside of her hock, and every time she would walk, she would pull that thing open. And I got this stuff and used it, and within just a week, it was healed. I can't say enough about it. I would definitely try it. Keep it in your tack room. Keep it in your first aid kit when you're on the road as well.
Just go to EquestrianCollections.com and search for Hydrogel, Hydrogel, and you'll find the Vetricin Wound and Infection Hydrogel, and you can pick up a bottle of it there.
And now, on with today's tip.
Say it again, just for fun. And now it's time for the weekly health report. Dr. Jones and Michelle are with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, we've all three said it. It's official. Darn it.
That it's good or that it's morning?
No, that
it's the horse health report.
Yeah, it's official now.
I'm a little slow this morning.
Yeah, catch up here, Michelle. Geez, wake up.
Oh, my gosh. And I just looked over and realized that my dog snuck into my office, so hopefully she behaves herself for our segment.
That's all right. Jamie has a mosquito in her office. I've been driving her crazy all morning. So,
And I have 3 dogs and a cat in this room with me, as well as the mosquito, plus I think probably about 25 of his closest friends. So this is fun. This is good.
So you have a whole zoo. Well, hopefully my dog doesn't start barking and then get your dog barking.
Oh, yeah, good point. That would happen.
She's sleeping, hopefully. Okay, we'll keep our fingers crossed and try to scoot through this while she's asleep. So,
Dr. Jones, what do you have in your office? Or don't we want to know?
The usual. Dogs, cats, and horses, and the usual. So.
Now, I've
actually getting kicked out of my office right now, so I'm in the library area that Jennifer got to see, and so I've been kicked out of my office temporarily.
Well, and that's even more perfect because it seems to me that every veterinarian, and probably in your library as well, on the shelf somewhere is a piece of a horse carcass, be it a bone, a hoof, some sort of skeleton. Do you have that in your office or your library?
I don't know. Can Jennifer answer on this one?
Oh, my God, Jamie, why did you ask that? She has an entire horse in there. Are you serious? And she knows his name.
No, really?
What is wrong with you people? You vets are crazy. Hey, let's have a dead horse in my office. Awesome. That looks great. Oh, you guys are ridiculous.
Yeah, her skull is on the shelf. Her pelvis is on the shelf, and the rest of her bones are on tables laid out and labeled, and then some of them are in a Rubbermaid getting ready to go to be affixed to her.
I nailed it.
So you have a horse, like pieces of a horse all over your library?
Yeah, she has not been put together. It's just been a timely item and finding the right person to put her together. But I did find somebody, not just going to come up with the money to put her together, but yeah, Peggy, my old thoroughbred mare, who used to be the tease mare here, and she was pretty crippled, has some great examples of arthritis that I love to show the clients and the joints.
Whoa. Stop the precedent. You have not only a horse skeleton in your room, it's your own horse?
It was, yeah. She, at age 26, 27, came down with EPM, and we spinal tapped her and got the confirmation. We treated her for a month. She didn't get any better. We went ahead and treated her for a second month at a higher dose. Halfway through the treatment, she started to colic, and it was a surgical colic, and with EPM, you know, being very ataxic, and 27, we chose euthanasia to be our best answer, which was difficult at the time for me. Very, very difficult. She had been with me for about 8 to 10 years. But I wanted her to continue to be part of the practice. So we did a shallow grave and had her biodegraded by the beetles and worms and such, and then dug her back up about a year later and boiled off all the skin that was left.
This is getting weirder.
Yeah.
This is getting worse as you talk. I'm sorry. Oh, Lord.
But
I'm sorry.
I do see the educational
sorry you
piece.
even asked that, Jamie?
Well, actually, I'm in the library with one of my pets, yes, but she's just not alive. She's deceased, and yeah, she's staring at me right now. She gave me a funny smile.
I was expecting you to say, yes, I've got a coffin bone sitting on my shelf so I can explain. No, this is way more than that.
Hold on. Let's start over.
Holding.
Yeah, we're starting over.
It's time for the weekly health report from Horse.com. Fantastic information and their attempt to ruin Glenn's lunch every week.
Hi, Michelle. Shut up, Jamie. Hi, Michelle.
Good morning.
It's so good to have you on the show today. We're going to talk about disaster preparedness here in Florida because there's hurricanes coming. Take it away.
Oh, Glenn, I'm so hurt.
And you're definitely thinking Florida because you're new down there. But I'm up, in the Northwest, and I am in wildfire country in the desert. And then there's also areas of flooding and tornadoes. I know in Kentucky you had tornadoes, didn't you, when you were in Lexington? Yeah. So, anywhere you live, there's something, to plan for with our horses. And in the June issue, we had some great coverage of things to do to keep your horse safe during a natural disaster and how to plan to get through that. And so Dr. Jones is here to talk to us, give us her perspective as a vet on what we can do in case those disasters come up. So, and Erin, so you, or Dr. Jones, you've been through hurricanes, I'm guessing, down in Florida also.
Oh, yes, ma'am, we have. We definitely have experienced them. I've been here for about almost 20 years, and I think 2004 rings true to a lot of people here in Florida because we had 3 of them come straight across Central Florida every 2 weeks. There was one in August, 2 weeks later, Labor Day weekend, 2 weeks later, mid-September. And, we were pretty tired of having boarded up windows and such. So, yeah, we're no strangers to it.
Yeah. So as a vet, what is the number one thing that you want your clients to know about natural disasters and getting prepared for those?
I guess you hit the key word, prepared. The thing I think that most people don't think about when they purchase horses, and I think is very pertinent that you should have in mind, is any emergency, you should have transportation. So natural disasters here in Florida, they recommend evacuations of certain areas. How do you evacuate if you don't have access to a trailer? Someone who has a trailer have not checked your trailer lately. It's got weeds growing underneath it and maybe a vine growing through it, flat tires and such. So that's my big thing, is have an evacuation or an emergency traveling plan, because it may not be an evacuation, but God forbid you get a tornado that comes through the Midwest, or a tornado comes through here in Florida, because we are heavy with tornadoes as well, and a piece of the tin roof of your barn flies off and gets into the field and your horse cuts its leg, and you need to find a way to get somewhere to get that taken care of. Transportation, I think, is key.
Yeah. You know, when I worked for a therapeutic riding center, I did the risk management planning for the program that you have to do for accreditation. And one of the big parts of that not only is having that trailer to get the horses out, but then also having a safe place to take them. So how should horse owners go about finding a place to take their horses in case of a disaster or an evacuation?
Most of the people, they go online. This is the experience I've had here in Florida. And at the time, I was able to secure my Peggy in a concrete block barn, so we didn't have to evacuate. But we had people look online to the overnight stays places in Georgia, and they probably flooded those places. Some had friends up there. Some went with friends who had friends, that kind of thing. But those overnight stay places are primo when it comes to taking your horse to a place. And they're, 6 hours away or 8 hours away, and you're going to have to get that far away sometimes in a hurricane situation.
Mm-hmm. Which is why you need as many spots in your trailer as you have horses, because you may not be able to make multiple trips back and forth.
Exactly. And the commercial haulers get very busy at that time, so you can't just rely on, I'll just hire a commercial hauler. Also, does your horse load? And that's really frustrating in a desperate situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you get everyone a little anxious anyway, trying to get anxious horses in trailers, that can not be a great situation if they aren't good at jumping in.
Yes.
So getting our horses evacuated, that's really important. But what if we're in a natural disaster and we have to deal with taking care of our horses without being able to get out or get supplies? And I know we should have food for ourselves, but what about for our horses, feed and water? How much should we have on hand?
Well, they always say to have enough for 4 to 5 days here in the hurricane situation when you're stocking up on water and such. So the same goes with your horse, and you're thinking, well, how am I going to have that? They drink, up to 10 gallons a day, and so you're thinking that times 5 days, that's 50 gallons for one horse. So what a lot of people will do is they'll just start filling up this big 50-gallon drums. And I've seen it in barns and hurricanes. The concrete barn my mare was at, she had like 8 to 10 of them in the aisleways, all filled with water, because, even if we don't get struck directly by a hurricane or the tornado, the outlying storms can knock out the electricity, which knocks out the electricity to your well or your pump, which a lot of people don't think about when they have a well or pump on their land. So you need to have that backup.
About those big drums, the big plastic ones, because you can buy those for pretty cheap, actually.
Yeah, that's what they use. And they're very reasonable, very, very reasonable. Yeah. And she just pulled them out of her storage shed that she had and just put them all throughout the aisleway, because she, closed down the doors and everything, and so they're readily available if she lost her well. Her pump, and she could just dip the water buckets right into it. That's another thing. Those of you that are on automatic waterers, you need to have enough buckets for water as well. So you do need to have those backup water buckets for your automatic waterers that go out.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I hadn't thought of that at all. So, and it's getting those drums before the emergency's coming up. Not waiting until the weatherman says there's a storm coming, right?
Right.
So what should we have in our first aid kit to take care of our horses if they do get injured?
Well, your basic bandage material is huge, because that's what you're going to run into is a lot of cuts and scrapes and stuff. So bandage material, I would say, would be number one. Then you could have your antibiotic type medicines for any wounds or cuts that are areas where you can't wrap the horse's leg. And those are definitely something necessary. Thermometer, stethoscope, if you know how to use them. If you don't know how to use them, ask your veterinarian. I've showed numerous people where to listen for a heart and take the temperature, it's a rectal temperature, that kind of thing. The sterile saline wash, you can buy it from your vet. You can get some of those from the feed stores. You can get some of them at Walgreens. There's sterile saline sprays they make. Those things will help clean out wounds that will, that they'll sustain. You can even get diapers if you need to act as stops if you're desperate. Any kind of antibacterial solutions, find them at the feed stores. Antibacterial like povidone, chlorhexidine is one of my favorites for antibacterial. And then prescription medicines for your horse. If your horse is on Pergolide and you're getting low, make sure that you don't wait to the last tablet to order it, because if we have a hurricane, transportation of UPS to your vet or to you, or even from your farm vet account, is going to be closed down. So you need to make sure that you have those prescription meds that your horse is on nonstop available, maybe backup for that. If you have some sort of reason to use bute on your horse or such, you want to make sure that you have that backup medicine, but talk to your veterinarian about having those medicines available. And then, of course, I always like to have inside, or tell the clients to put inside their little first aid kit, your veterinarian's phone number, just in case your speed dial's not working, or your cells are out or something to that effect, and you can get to a land phone. You get their phone number right there inside the first aid kit. Or you went up to Georgia, or you went out of state to move the horse. You've got your veterinarian's phone number there handy in the first aid kit.
So you should definitely be ready to have your vet not be able to make it to your horse right away after.
Because if anything, they're triaging. If it's a really bad storm, which the ones here, actually it was a tornado went through Ocala. It took out quite a few thoroughbred farms. Big trees went down. A lot of horses got hurt, and they had to triage. They had to pick which horses they were going to see first. So your horse may not be number one, but you're going to have to do something to stop the bleeding, or do something to cover up that open, ugly wound, or get the debris or dirt out of the wound that the horse has rolled and rubbed into it overnight that you didn't know, that the injury occurred or whatever. So you'll definitely need something to kind of help you out in the meantime, and your vet can give you guidance over the phone while they're trying to get to you.
Yeah, we had
the roads may be closed.
Yeah, apparently during that storm, those storms apparently in our neighborhood here with the big live oak trees, another disadvantage is they couldn't get back to our road for a week. Power was out, and trees were just down everywhere.
Yeah.
So you have to be ready for not being able to have those experts come help you out. And then in like Katrina, we saw lots of animals, horses, dogs, cats lost without their people. How can we identify our horses so that we can get them back if there is a severe storm or wildfire and they get out?
That's a really great point, Michelle. That's something that you should do well ahead of storm weather, is get your horse either microchipped, or you can do freeze branding, which is a little old-fashioned, but some people still do it. The tattooed lip, if you can read it on your thoroughbred, that'd be fantastic. Make sure you have that tattoo number down, documented somewhere in a hard copy, so that you can carry it with you, maybe on your Coggins or on other items. But then they also have the new thing out, which is the ID, which is the retinal scan that they're doing. It hasn't picked up a lot of steam, but it's a very good ID remedy. The microchipping is the most common, the most popular, and they have now universal microchipping guns that the USDA and some of the rescue or the animal control groups have or have access to. And it's one gun that reads every single microchip that's made, even European ones. So having your microchip number handy, as I tell my clients, when I administer a microchip into the horse, that microchip number has been serialized to me, Dr. Jones at Florida Equine. I tell them to call the company, set up their own account with their name and number, so that when that horse is lost, they can go straight to that number and go straight to the client, rather than having to go through me, who might not be able to get to my clinic because I'm either busy or I've got trees down and can't get to my clinic, to look at that number that we've got logged in or categorized in our file, and then they finally get to the client's name or number. So being registered through the company is good.
How much will microchipping cost, Dr. Jones?
Oh, it's less than $50. It's very cheap to do.
Okay.
And then to register, some of the companies charge maybe $10 to register, and you can register up to, 5 animals, including your dogs and cats.
Okay.
Or even 8 animals. So it depends on the company that you go with. And the registration is very, very cheap to put your name and number down, and you can put as many pets up to their limit underneath that name and number.
Yeah.
And the other thing people have done here is, and it's very unique, and you might see it in your wildfires because they might think, oh, it's not going to happen in my neighborhood, is they'll take the cattle markers. You can get those at the feed stores, and they'll write their phone number on the side of the horse. Mm-hmm. Or they put little tags on a leather, not a nylon, please, a leather halter, because it breaks easier if they get caught with it. A leather halter that put little ID tags, like you have dog tags on your dog's collar, that has your name and number attached to it. The only thing is if the halter's off the horse, then there's still no ID.
Yeah, I keep a big cattle chalk in my kit so that I can write on the side of my horses if a storm or a fire did come through and they had to be let go. I figure that's a good way to find them again or help them find me. I've also heard of people using fingernail polish and painting on the hooves, the phone number.
Yeah.
Number.
On the hooves, but not on the hair, because there have been some products people have used on the hair, and the hair has been, they lose their hair in that area. So be careful what you use on the hair. Those cattle markers are the best ones to use. I carry them in the truck for emergency reasons.
Yeah.
Well, then the fingernail polish would do its job, because then you definitely, it's not going to wash off if it starts raining. It's like a freeze
I was
frame.
thinking that too.
The other thing too, though, is you got to remember that non-horse people won't be comfortable picking up a horse's foot if it's standing in sand, dirt, or debris, or they've got dirt debris on that foot. They may not see it.
Yeah. Well, we, on thehorse.com, we have an archived webinar that we did recently on identification. And if you just go to thehorse.com and under videos, webinars, and you can you register, and then you can watch the identification webinar that we did. And it covers traditional methods, hot branding, freeze branding, up to this iris scanning, microchipping, all kinds of options for horse owners so that they can find their horses after these kind of things. But let's cross our fingers and horses stay home and safe.
Exactly.
Well,
I've got a first aid kit PDF print-off on my website, and anybody can go on there and print it off. It gives them an idea of what they can go to the store and put together.
And that's floridaequine.com?
Yes.
Good.
I also have a hurricane preparedness sheet as well, if they're interested.
Oh, good. I'll be printing that off because we have to worry about that now, so I got to print that off too. Next time we need to talk, we don't have time right now, but next time we need to talk about haboobs, because you need to do some research on what Jamie has to do, because she keeps getting blasted with haboobs out there in Phoenix.
What?
Covered haboobs. Sandstorm. But I think Dr. Jones would know a lot about sandstorms, so we'll cover that a different time.
Well, there you go. To listen to more of thehorse.com's tips, just go to horsetipdaily.com and go to the experts drop-down menu on the left. If you just love listening to the Horses in the Morning gang, putting in their 2 cents on horse health topics, you can tune in to the Horses in the Morning show at horsesinthemorning.com for your weekly fix of up-to-the-minute horse health information. They're on every Wednesday. You can also go to thehorse.com, where you can find the motherlode of horse health information covering just about every topic imaginable. Don't forget to support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily, because they make these podcasts possible. Today's podcast has been brought to you by EquestrianCollections.com. Just like Horse Tip Daily brings the whole world of equine knowledge to you, Equestrian Collections brings the whole world of equine online shopping to you. Check them out today, EquestrianCollections.com, and tell them Coach Jen sent you. Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like to hear us cover on the show. You can subscribe to all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. You can also listen to the shows right on Facebook. The player's right there every day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.